Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I realized recently that I have made a fair few videos about some terrible types of parents, as I seem to have done a lot of over the past few years, but it's been a while since we've dived into a Reddit dedicated to things about it, because, you know, we've done very specific things like crunchy moms and doormat moms no more and things such as that, very specific, but I haven't done anything quite like entitled parents for a long while, where people come to Reddit and submit stories about things their parents have done that are incredibly entitled. And so today I thought that we would have a dive and look into the r/entitled parents subreddit, because there's a lot there that needs talking about. And so I thought I would bring that to you. We can all sit here and feel validated in some parental trauma, as well as just like unpacking some of this and having a bit of a conversation. I would also like to say a massive thank you to today's patron of the day, Katie. I appreciate you and your support so much, and I hope that you enjoy this video. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos 1 to 5 days early and completely ad-free for those days. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, live streams, and more. It really greatly helps me out and allows me to continue doing this, and I appreciate it a lot. And if you cannot afford to support my Patreon, which is totally fair enough, times are hard, please do not forget to leave a like and comment on this video, as the interaction really helps me out, and YouTube has been holding me back in the algorithm so bad, and it is incredibly frustrating, and it really helps me out, and I really appreciate it, and I would love to see you here again. I upload 3 times a week, and yeah, I would appreciate the support. Anyway, now that that is out of the way, let us get into some entitled parents. Mother bought me a present for Christmas I have explicitly stated I have no interest in, and I feel terrible. I'm 29. My mother got me a pair of Birkenstock sandals for the summer for Christmas, and I absolutely hate them, and have told her this before. I sound so ungrateful and hate my attitude, but it's also what I know this represents. She keeps going on about these shoes, and every time before she gave them to me, I said I have no interest in them, which is the truth. I have sandals already, which do me fine. I do not need new shoes. She has her own, and I feel she's trying to inflict this on me. Every Sunday when I'd see her in the summer, on a day off, she would comment what I was wearing. Why aren't you wearing sandals? At least you're wearing sandals today. I'm already dreading the summer now because I know this will be the existence of every Sunday. Good, you're working your Birkenstocks. They're great shoes, aren't they? And I have no choice but to go along with it, or I'm the worst person in the world. I've stated on so many occasions I do not like the brand. I do not find the shoes comfortable. I'm also trying to improve my spending and saving habits. I refuse to buy things I do not need a duplicate of. Cut down on what I don't need, quality over quantity. That's another reason I can't stand having the new shoes. I know I didn't pay for them, but I do not need them. My current ones work perfectly, even at around 6 years old. I wore them all summer and loved them. I went to Rome in August, doing around 30 to 40k steps a day, and they were ideal. She does it constantly with 2 pairs of shoes she has already bought me. Whenever I wear them, she comments or asks, "You're lucky to have those shoes. Are they very comfy, those shoes?" Every single time. Look, they're only shoes, it's absolutely harmless, but it's still very strange she has to do it every time. I think my issue lies with what I know this represents rather than the shoes. I remember looking at them when I got them in the box. There was a separate toe split as well, which I detest. I feel so ungrateful because her intentions were good and she spent a lot of money too. What do you think? Why is she trying to push this onto me when I've said I'm not interested? This is such a frustrating situation because it is so easy to convince yourself that it is such a minor issue that means nothing, and like you're being ridiculous for being upset over it. Like, it is so easy to convince yourself of that and to like tell yourself that you are overreacting and being ridiculous, and therefore it makes it really easy for them to say that to you too if you do complain about it and bring it up, and they can call you ungrateful and you will very easily believe it. But like, it is so much deeper than that, because as you said, it's like this thing of like, she's not listening. It's such a thing of being like, I know better than you. I know what you want. I know what you like. When you have time and time over expressed that that is not what you want. And it is like so fair enough, because like me personally, the way I love getting presents now as an adult is very much like, I will ask for things that I need that I do not want to spend money on myself. I like spending my money on fun things that I want, things that I enjoy. I hate spending money on things that I need, because It's stupid. It's stupid. I hate it. My money should be for fun things. So like for Christmas and birthdays and stuff, I ask for like practical things. I ask for like new bed sheets. I got like a blender or an air fryer or like household appliances that need replacing. So then I can spend my own money on fun things like concert tickets, like traveling, etc. You know? And so like getting something that you really do not want, that you have expressed you do not want and have no interest in because you already have them, feels like such a waste of a gift. You know what I mean? Like she could have gotten something that was useful, that you actually want, that you actually need, so that then you don't have to buy it for yourself, you know? And I feel like those are the best gifts. And having that like completely ignored and your mother being like, no, but you need these when you've actively expressed that you don't, is so frustrating and really selfish in the sense of it's very much her being like, what you choose for yourself isn't good enough. I know best, and you have to do this to please me. And if you aren't doing it, then I'm going to get upset with you because I spent money on this. I really did something kind for you. It's like, no, you didn't. You did what you wanted. You did what was kind for you. You are forcing this on me when it is so inconsequential that they're like, it's like asserting power. It's kind of being like, I know better, you have to do this for me. And you know, listen and respect people's wishes. It's really that simple. My stepdad demanded to use my phone for a week. When I was a teenager, my brother had gotten an iPhone 4 from my bio dad. It was still pretty new at the time. When my brother left home, he got himself a new phone and gave me the iPhone 4. But you see, my stepdad had this policy that none of us kids could have anything nicer than him. He had to have a nicer bed, nicer food, a nicer phone. So one day, my stepdad broke his phone and ordered himself a new one. But the new one would take a week to get there. He needed something in the meantime, so he went to the store, got a burner phone, took my phone, wiped it, and made me use the burner phone for that week. When I got it back, this was before iCloud was as good as it is now, all my app data, photos, contacts were gone. And when I had the audacity to complain to him about it, he called me entitled and it wasn't his problem. Whatever was on my phone was not as important as him having a better phone than me for a single week. I'm sorry? I'm fucking sorry? What did you just say? I have like no words for the level of fucked up and ridiculous that is. Like stealing your kid's phone for a week because you refuse them to have a better phone than you is like next level ridiculous childish behavior. Especially like wiping the whole thing just to use it for a week. Are you kidding? You couldn't have just waited an extra week to break your own phone. Also, you didn't even need to break your own. What was the point in breaking your phone? You can get a new phone without your other phone being broken. That's fucking weird. Order the phone, then get rid of the phone and get like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I'm so fucking sorry this happened. That's ridiculous. Like actually ridiculous. I cannot like get inside the mind of someone who thinks this way. Like having to have that level of superiority above fucking children, your own children no less, is insane. Like that's so immature. What the fuck? There are people in the comments being like, you should steal his phone and factory reset it while he's not looking. And I think that that's a great idea. I absolutely think so. Steal his phone, factory reset, and put him back. I don't care how many years it's been. He deserves it because what the fuck? He's just a shit person. He's a bad person. Oh my God. My mom is mad at me for going to the hospital for an ear infection. Back in 2024, I've been having a bad ear infection for weeks. I tried to go to my doctor, but they really didn't do much. I told my mom about it and there was nothing she could do. I tried taking medicine and ear drops, but they didn't help. One day it started to get worse, so I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the emergency room and they gave me medicine to help with my ear infection, and it actually helped. But now I'm being charged with like $4,000 and my mom is upset with me. I told her my ear infection was so bad, but she says you only go to an emergency room if you're dying. And she says it's one of the dumbest things I've ever done. I hope my insurance will cover at least some of it. What do you guys think? I think that infections in general can be very dangerous. If you are not treated for an infection, it can lead to death. Like that is a known fact. Like infections have to be treated. Like ear infections can lead to brain issues if they aren't treated. All infections can end up getting to your heart. Like it is a dangerous thing to be messing with if you are not treating an infection. And it's real fucked up of your doctors to not do anything about it. I do not know how the medical care system works in the US in terms of like emergency rooms or whatever. But I like personally think that you absolutely should go to the hospital if there is something that you are not being helped with. I don't think you should have to, because I think that your doctors should deal with it. But I think that if it stops an infection from spreading, then absolutely you need to get the help that you need. And sometimes that looks like going to the hospital. And it's just really fucked up that that costs a lot of money in the States. And I think that like your mom has to kind of be okay with that, because, you know, you got rid of the infection. It helped you out in the end. Mother said I was selfish for changing my name. I, 24 male, came out to my mother when I was 22 years old. She did not take it well. This specific scenario happened years ago, but I've been advised to take stories of my mother to this subreddit as they were confident that she fits the entitled parent template, and I'm acting on the advice. For context, my mother has had the usual negative responses that parents can generally have. She's told me that I turned my back on everything I was raised on, that I was just confused, that Satan was lying to me. She's heavy religious. Also, I have nothing wrong with the religion, but she is very toxically religious. She even went as far as to tell me that my straight, not safe for work books I was reading and my Catholic friend brainwashed me to make me trans. And that's just the tamer responses she had. She also, after I came out, apparently hid little index cards with Bible verses and nonsense explanations from her as to how the Bible verse was explaining that I was not actually trans or that it was wrong that I was trans. In this instance, she also blamed my Catholic friend on top of some of my other friends for brainwashing me into believing I'm trans. To be clear, my friends have never once made any impression on me to be trans. We have never even so much as discussed the idea that I was trans until I brought it up to him. Well, it got the point where I was comfortable introducing my chosen name to my siblings and such. Of course, I told my mother as well, even though I know that she will never use it. However, it was simply not enough for my mother to not be pressured or expected to use my chosen name. She was also upset that my brother and other people around our apartment complex have chosen to respect my new name. Well, a fight broke out because my little brother, 17 male, has become very much like a trans social justice warrior towards my mother in defense of me. His most famous quote being to scream at my mother loud enough for me to hear from my bedroom, "Her pronouns are he, him, mom." Bless his heart, he tried. This particular incident, my brother seemed very upset that my mother was not using my chosen name, as my siblings had all generally started working at switching over how they addressed me. Even my older brother, 25 male, despite his own unique views, he at the very least previously used to have. Well, my mother has this whiteboard where she would write messages on it for us before she leaves for work, generally addressing our chores for the day and so forth. As you can expect, my mother did not use my chosen name on this whiteboard, and that was something I choked down and dealt with, as I knew picking the fight with my mother was not worth it. Well, my little brother is a very empathetic individual and knows when something is bothering me. So beyond my knowledge, he apparently continuously kept changing the name on the whiteboard from my dead name to my chosen name. I was low-key proud of him for being such an ally, but also I figured it was going to come with a lecture on my end. And I was right. My mum comes into my room later that night to insist I stop going by Ren, my chosen name, and to continue going by my dead name with everyone. She told me that I was incredibly selfish and inconsiderate of me to change my name that she and my father worked so hard to come up with, and that it took them months to come up with the perfect name for me. My father doesn't seem to care or have any attachment to my name other than the fact that my dead name was named after him and was meant to be the female version of his own name, and even he's agreed to call me Junior as a compromise and still fully accepts that Ren is my new name. I have agreed fully to that, and I think the nickname is adorable. She also said I was throwing away the gift that she and my father gave me. Also, a fun fact story, my dead name was not actually going to be my dead name, but rather another name. The only reason I wasn't named the other name was because my aunt insisted that my cousin, who was going to be due barely a month or two after me, would be named the same name. Turns out neither of us were named under this name, so I have reason to believe that no, my mother does not actually care about my dead name itself, and rather was only caring about me changing my name because I was changing it as a trans man. And this is only the tip of the iceberg with this woman. Good lord. It's so cute when like siblings take on the role of like defending you against parents like this, because that can be so scary, you know, like standing up to a strict parent can be a very scary thing. And it was really lovely that this kid like did that and put himself up for that, even though he doesn't entirely seem to understand the situation to its full extent, as in like the her pronouns are he. And it's so lovely to like be changing the name and doing all these like small things. It is so funny coming up with these excuses though of being like, we thought so hard on this name. We gave you this gift. We gave you this present. Like, you should love and appreciate it. And it's so offensive. Meanwhile, having the story of the name anyway and knowing it was come up with last minute and is not special at all, especially when it is being named after your father. and he doesn't care. Like, your excuses are transparent. We can see right through them. You don't have a leg to stand on. You are so clearly bullshitting here. And it's so funny to think that like they wouldn't see through that excuse. It's just a name. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things that are more important than a name. Like, I understand that it might be hard to change names. Like, your child changes names, and I understand that that might be like a difficult concept to kind of like gather once you've been calling them a name for the past 20 something years, right? So I understand that it's like difficult to change that and to accept that and like fit that into your new vocabulary, and you will make slip-ups. That makes sense. People are expecting that to happen. But to like completely shut it down and be like, no, not okay, I hate it, how dare you, like it's okay. It'll be okay. It is a name. You can deal with it. I believe in you. Parents won't let me go to a concert. How should I convince my parents to let me go to a concert tomorrow? I, 18 female, am on university break, and last May I decided to buy tickets with my friends to go to a concert to an artist co-headlining with another artist I've liked since I was 14 or so. I'm going with friends, one of whom I haven't seen in a while because she goes to school 3 hours away, so this was really important to me. I told my dad, 70 male, last week of my plans, and he didn't react much and just said, okay. But then I told my mom. My mom, 55 female, started yelling at me and told me that we are Christians. I shouldn't go see a non-Christian artist. In June, though, I went to a non-Christian concert with my other friends, and even they begrudgingly accepted. My mom told me that it didn't add anything to my life and concert had no benefit. My mom villainized and accused me of being so obsessed with music and concerts and made me feel bad for wanting to do so. I do love music. I love playing it, and I even want to work in the music industry when I'm older. I'm doing some internships for it now. I manage an artist and he's having his first show soon. She called me argumentative and told me that I acted like I knew everything and always combated people when they tried to tell me the right thing. My mom is also concerned about concert safety and says that people who go to concerts do drugs, have sex, and indulge in bad things. There is security at the venue and I'm going to be with friends at all times, and I'm either getting a ride there from trusted people or taking a ride share. She gave me an infographic of different tragedies that have happened at concerts, like with Ariana Grande, Travis Scott, and various shootings. Shootings are not a problem because I'm Canadian. My sister, 22 female, tried to help me moderate a discussion, but my mom ignored us and got really upset. She basically ignored me and told us we were being unreasonable and arguing. She told us that because the both of us are going to visit our older sister, 25 female, in New York later this spring, we're already going to have fun. My mom does not listen to me at all and has shut me down. My concert is tomorrow and I still want to go, but my parents will not let me. If I do go anyway, they will likely take away my tuition as they have threatened to in the past. Threatening to take away your tuition for going to a concert is ridiculous. Over such a small thing. Like, it's so funny because these are the types of parents who are like, you have to go to university, you have to get a degree. And then they turn around and go, if you do this, I'm not going to pay for your university. Okay, well then they're going to stop going to university. And that's not really what you want either, is it? Like, you can't pick a fucking battle. Oh my God. And it is so inconsequential. Like, it's a concert. It's a concert. Let your kids do things that make them happy, especially things that are like literally not harmful at all. Like, you have absolutely no like standing at all that this is going to be a problem, especially when this kid has gone to concerts before. It's such like a power thing too, of like, when kids stand up for themselves and parents are like, how dare you argue with me? How dare you act like you know everything? How dare you act like you're always right? You mean like what you're doing right now? Just because you're older does not mean you always know what's best, believe it or not. Especially like in this instance, she is literally an adult. You are trying to assert control over someone who is literally legally an adult. She doesn't even live with you anymore. She doesn't even live at home. She's just here visiting you. She doesn't have to be here visiting you. She lives by herself in a different fucking city. She will be going to concerts regardless of what you tell her and regardless of what you want, because she doesn't live with you and you don't know where she is at all given times. It's this thing of like, obviously she's coming from this place of like, she doesn't have control over her daughter any other time of year. So now that her daughter is at home, she's very much like, okay, now I get to take control over you. Now I'm going to manipulate you and control every aspect of your life and hold threats over your head. Like, what threats do you have once she finishes uni? Once university is finished and graduated and this mother is not paying tuition anymore, what is she gonna do? Have open communication. Talk to your kids. Let them live their lives. Stop trying to control them, or you're going to lose them. If you are holding these threats over their heads over such inconsequential things, they're going to cut you off. My mom had sex with a guy in my bed. Hi, my mom has recently been seeing 4 men. She's 57 years old and always acts like an 18-year-old. I recently saw today she's been having sex with a man in my bed, which obviously I'm fuming about as it's disgusting. I'm also autistic and have my bedroom as my safe place from this, and I have called her slag and vile behavior because it is. And I said, why should I pay rent when you were doing this behind my back? She's turned around saying I'm nasty, disgusting, and has banned my boyfriend from coming around the house as a form of punishment, which I don't see why I should be punished as I have every right to be angry. My mom is also someone who never apologizes and slags off her kids when she doesn't get her way, so hopefully you can already see the type of person that she is. So, okay, your mom is seeing 4 people and is having sex in your bed when her bed is literally like right there. And then when you say you're upset about it, stops you from having your boyfriend over? Does she let you and your boyfriend have sex in her bed? Not that you would want to, but I'm sure she wouldn't be very happy about it. That's so weird. That's so weird. Why would you want to have sex in your kid's bed? Why do you want to have sex in your kid's bedroom? Why are her partners also like totally chill with having sex in her kid's bedroom? Like, that's so fucking weird. There's some weird psychological shit in here that I like don't even know where to begin to unpack. But it is this weird like power thing over your kids in the like weirdest kind of grossest way. Like, what are you getting out of this? Why do you feel the need to do, like, I cannot even begin to get into her brain to figure out what is going on here. Like, you have every right to be upset here. And I really hope that you were able to leave, because this is like not a situation that is okay at all. And like would be so uncomfortable. I'm so baffled by this. The fuck? How does she think she's in the right here? What I just wanted to put a trigger warning here for marital sexual assault, severe manipulation, harassment towards minors, and extreme homophobia. So please skip if that is going to be triggering for you. My mother has been shaming me since I got married and now is trying to marry out my minor daughters. I can't believe I ever had to make a post about my mother, but here we are. My 45 female, mother, 71 female, have a difficult relationship. My mother was an old school traditional wife. She was a homemaker, never did any work outside the house, had far more kids than I think is healthy, 7 kids and 6 boys. She's originally from Guatemala and came to the US when she was 14. She married my father here, had her family here, and tried to make sure myself and my siblings had old school values. Something she really failed at. Most of my siblings are as far from my mother as humanly possible. 2 of them sadly passed away. I'm the only one that stayed near to take care of my parents, and since my dad died, I've taken my mother's bills so she can live easy. She's always been a dramatic headache, especially when it came to my marriage. She babied my husband, always took his side. I only wanted 1 kid, but my husband wanted as many as biologically possible. He had told me he also only wanted 1 when we talked about marriage. My mother helped him mess with my birth control, so I got pregnant with my youngest. I don't regret my youngest daughter, but after she was born, I secretly had my tubes tied. My mother always berated me for being faulty since I only had 2 children. That's not counting how she berated me for marrying old. I married at 22, she married at 16. There's so much to unpack in that paragraph. Okay, firstly, I am so sorry. Like, the person you are meeting and dating and falling in love with says to you, I only want 1 child. You say I only want 1 kid and they're like, oh my God, me too, that's perfect. Like, this relationship is going to work, we are going to thrive because like we want the same things. And then once you get married, he's like, well, now that I've trapped you, I actually want as many kids as possible. And not only just telling you that, but then fucking with your birth control so that you get pregnant and your mother helping him in that. I am so fucking sorry. That is horrific. That is so horrible. Like, that level of abuse from both your mother and your partner happening at the same time, like, I'm so fucking sorry. That's so fucked. Proud of you for getting your tubes tied after that. I'm so sorry that you felt the need to do that. And then your mother calling you faulty after that happened. She does not deserve you paying her bills. Like, she does not deserve that at all. Like, let her suffer. And I would say I hope you left your husband because you deserve better, but this story continues and unfortunately that is not what happened. And I'm sorry that you felt that you had to put up with that. Like, your mother's traditional values did not pay off in the sense of like you having a job, etc., but like clearly paid off in the sense of feeling like you have to stay married to someone who is horrible. And I'm very sorry that that is something that took, because fuck. My husband was 49 when he died in a car crash recently. We shared 2 daughters, 14 and 16. He was also having an affair with a girl since 2020. The girl was 24. The girl was 24 when she died. Oh my God. I can't believe he died in a car crash with his mistress who was half his age. This man. Oh my God. Together they had twin boys early this year who thankfully survived the crash. My daughters found out the affair first when their father took them to the hospital to meet the babies and told the girls to keep it secret from me. They didn't, and my husband became abusive towards them and myself. We were in the divorce process when he died. Jesus Christ, that was a lot. That was a lot. You've been through a lot. I'm so sorry that you went through all of this. Imagine having an affair with someone half your age, which results in having like twins, and then you go and take your children who are teenagers and being like, you have sisters. Don't tell your mother. What? What? Exactly, Neil. Exactly. Like, that's ridiculous. That's like straight up ridiculous. Oh my God. I'm sorry to the young woman that died in that car crash. I'm sorry to these babies who now have no parents. I'm not sorry about him at all, especially after he became abusive. When my husband's affair came out, my mother blamed me. She said it was because I was a working woman that didn't please her husband, that I didn't give him enough children, that I wasn't pretty anymore. I'm not going to say I'm super attractive, but I think I look good for my age. I've kept my weight well enough, and I look relatively young for my age. But no, according to my dear mother, I wasn't good enough for my husband, who needed a girl closer in age to our daughters than him. She also was on the group of people angry at me when I refused to adopt my husband's affair children. This behavior from her mother is like unreal. It's unreal. Imagine saying to your child, like, you are not pleasing your husband. He needs someone closer to the age of his daughters. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What did you just say? What an insane thing to say. Every paragraph we get, I am like more and more absolutely shocked by the fact that she continued to give her mother money. Like, she is so much better than me in that sense. Like, I would have cut that. I say that. I think that, like, she deserves to cut that tie anyway. We're not even to the worst of it yet. So buckle up because we keep going deeper. Her newest crazy is she's trying to find husbands for my daughters, mainly focused on my eldest. This crazy plan started this week when my eldest came out to us. I had an idea, and I'm happy she felt comfortable enough in the massive mess we're in to still tell me and her sister. My daughter also decided to tell my mother about it. My mother just ended the call. Then called me to scream about how confused and sick my daughter is. She's linked me conversion camps, psychologists that claim homosexuality is a sickness, wackos in my opinion, political articles, etc. She even wanted to see about doing an exorcism. I told her to stop it or she would be in no contact with my in-laws. She stopped for literally 24 hours. Next thing I get is a Facebook message from a man in his mid-20s asking if it was true I was looking to marry out my 16-year-old daughter. I told him he was sick and blocked him. I got 6 more though that night. Then my mother called saying she found husband prospects for my girls, my high school aged girls. Angry has been an understatement. A 16-year-old comes out as a lesbian and then her grandmother goes on Facebook and is like, who wants to marry my 16-year-old daughter? Who wants to marry my 16-year-old granddaughter? There are no words for how disgustingly fucked up that is. Holy shit. She even gave some of these men my daughter's cell phone numbers. We're all getting new phone numbers tomorrow, and I had the girls put their social medias into private. Jesus Christ. Again, words do not describe the level of fucked up. Holy shit. Imagine doing that. Imagine putting your granddaughters at risk because of this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? In what world do you convince yourself that this is an okay thing to do? You find out your granddaughter is a lesbian and your response is to put them in like actual danger? I didn't know what part of the brain is broken in my mother's brain. I had the girls block their grandmother and everything, and I'm stopping payments to anything that my mother needs. Good, good, good. I know I need help to call the cops. I just never thought I would need to call the cops on my own mother. It's been only 2 weeks since I had to cut my in-laws. I'm just exhausted. And please do not think this is normal Hispanic thing. It's not. My aunts are amazing women. Most of them are also homemakers. They are actually on my side of cutting my mother off and calling the cops. They even suggested for my daughters and I to move closer to them in another state. This is just my mother being insane. Small update, we went to the police today and they took all information I had. The officer we spoke to was incredible and immediately helped my lawyer with all that was needed for a temporary RO. We'll be filing it this week and hopefully get it within the month. After, we'll focus on a permanent RO. This is on my mother and any third parties on her behalf. The officer was also kind enough to offer to check on us and our house at least once a day. School has also been notified of the situation, and one of my brothers is going to come live with my daughters and I until we decide if and where and when to move. I can't just up and pack everything since I have a job and my girls are in the middle of school year. For now, we're safe and my girls have new phone numbers. And after this, her mother has been cut off monetarily. They're going to put her in a state home and she is cut off from her entire family. Her brother is moving in with her, likely permanently. She's gotten permission from her job to move wherever she wants, even overseas, because this issue is absolutely entirely fucked up, but they're all safe. So that's what's really important, because holy shit, oh my God, how incredibly fucked up this is. I cannot even begin to find words to try to explain what level of fucked up this is. How do you come to this conclusion? What part of your brain makes you think that this is an at all appropriate thing to do? Even a little bit. It's one thing to disown someone and another to put them in active danger and try to marry off your teenagers. And the fact that so many men responded to this, fucked. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. There are some horrible, disgusting people out there. Oh my God. I am so sorry to them for all of this happening. I'm so sorry to these two poor fucking teenagers who have to live with this trauma. Because this is truly such a traumatic event that's happened. And I hope that they feel safe now. I hope that they're able to get whatever help they may need to deal with this. And I'm wishing all the best to you. And I'm glad now that this mother has extra money. She's not paying for her mother anymore. And so now hopefully she can give her kids a nice life with that extra money. And yeah, they deserve treats. All of the treats. Jesus Christ. Some parents are truly so horrifically entitled and refuse to take accountability for that. You just know in this instance, this mother still thinks that she's done a fantastic job. She probably still thinks she's fucking mother of the year. For whatever reason, they refuse to take any accountability. So many of these parents are straight up abusive or terrible people, and then will still find a way to blame their children and think that they are great mothers. See my previous videos about parents who their kids have gone no contact and still believe that it is their kids' fault and not theirs, despite the treatment that they have given to their kids. Because it is such a massive thing of these parents genuinely doing such horrible and harmful behavior and then refusing to take any accountability or responsibility for it and just blaming their kids for it. Through this entire situation, this mother still managed to blame her daughter for every single bad thing that happened. This is all on her daughter. And yet she still thinks that she is great and in the right. And this is the case for all of these stories, really, right? All of these parents are doing these horrible things that are having such negative impact on their kids' lives, and then sitting here and thinking that they're doing the right thing. Regardless of being told that they aren't, they refuse to listen to reason because everything has to be about them and they're not allowed to be wrong. And it is infuriating. And the world would be such a better place if people just fucking listened. If people were good communicators and actually communicated and actually listened to each other and had open conversations, the world would be so much, it would be a better place. So this has been some fun parental trauma from some fun, great, excellent, entitled parents. If you would like to see another one of these, please do not forget to leave a like. These are always very entertaining to do, and I hope that you enjoyed. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Bobby, Ellie, Chris, Samuel, Knitting Menace, Radsack, Mr. Noodle, Lady Nutbar, Ella, Queen Glimmer, River, Phenomenally, Jesse, Phil the Duck, Uh-Oh, It's Craiglow, Blaze, Blue Kitsune 24, M.A. Ping the Games, Joy, L. James D, Prismatic, and Beckett. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, please do not forget to go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. It starts at only £1 a month and I appreciate it greatly. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.